Hey, do you want to get construction jobs fast? I'm going to show you exactly how contractors are getting construction jobs, closing deals faster than ever before. My name is Daniel Quindamel, founder of I Am Builders. We're a construction estimating and consulting firm where we specialize in helping busy contractors grow their construction business. And today I'm going to show you the strategies on how you can close more jobs fast. Now, in construction, there is a big issue with something called word of mouth. Do you guys know what word of mouth is? So word of mouth in construction is when a customer refers you to do a project. You're going to get some of your highest closing rates with word of mouth, but it's not a way where you can consistently scale your business. So if you want to get more leads, 10, 20, 30 leads, estimate those jobs, close them. If you want to do those sorts of things, you're not going to be able to do that with word of mouth because you can't control when the neighbor of someone that you did some work for, you can't control when they're going to refer you. Or if you did a commercial project, when the next business owner is going to meet with another business owner and say, hey, who did yours? I want to do mine. There's no way to control that. Now, if you do happen to land a referral, yeah, you're going to probably have a really high closing rate, but again, you can't control it. And today I'm going to show you exactly how to get the leads and take those jobs through the finish line where you're going to close it and get more construction jobs. Today I'm going to cover 5 methods on how to get construction jobs. Number 1 is a method that's going to get you leads instantly. It's a powerful way for you to get more leads, and I'm going to share that with you. The second way is the General Contractors Secret Weapon. There is a secret that most people don't know about, and I'm going to share that with you today. Number 3 is who is the subcontractor's best friend and best potential lead. I'm going to share that with you today also. Number 4, how to get a project even before there's an architect. And number 5, the perfect client that always needs remodeling, repairs, and renovations done. So number 1, the method that's going to get you unlimited leads almost instantly. We have to use technology to our advantage. In construction, we have these great platforms called lead generation platforms. These are organizations like the Blue Book, Dodge, Building Connected, and then on the residential side, you have Home Advisor, House, even your own Google Ads that you can use to get unlimited leads in the door. So these lead platforms, they're going to connect the end users who are the owners or maybe the architect or the developer. Those are the end users. They're going to connect them with the general contractors. When they need bids, they're going to look for general contractors. And then the general contractors turn around and they say, hey, I need bids from subcontractors, because most general contractors don't really estimate their own jobs. They get proposals and they kind of like look through them and level out the bids and things like that. So they need subs to bid those jobs. These platforms are going to be good for both GCs and subs. It's going to get you notified of all the jobs going on in your area. Last week, I was preparing a presentation and I went on my Blue Book account and there was like 70 something jobs going on in my area, and I couldn't believe it. And here's the most powerful part. That's 70 something jobs now. Next week there's going to be more, and then the following week there's going to be more, and the following week after that there's going to be more. There's literally an unlimited number of leads that you can cherry pick from. So if you are a specific type of contractor, maybe you specialize in multifamily, or maybe you specialize in like residential, or maybe you want to do like retail centers, you can go through, and I guarantee right now that if you go into one of these platforms, you're going to find 10, 20, or 30 of your perfect project that you could bid on. And then you're also going to be able to filter out by the owner or the contractor or the general contractor or the developer. So you could pick who you want to work for. This gives the power back to you. Most of the contractors that I talk to, they usually do like word of mouth, or they don't get that many invites in their inbox. They do, but they're not very good invites. So they have to like pick only the best ones, and they don't have that many. So they have to make it work. Like, I got to make this job work because I only have one other job to bid. And if not, I'm out of business. That's kind of like the mentality. But if you have 70 something jobs this week, and then 70 something jobs next week, and then 70 something jobs after that, imagine the power that that gives you, because you could be extremely picky on who you bid for. That's the power of a lead platform. If you're doing like the Blue Book, you're going to get leads there. If you're doing Home Advisor, you're going to get people calling you. So Home Advisor, everybody thinks it's like a lead generation company. It's not. Home Advisor is really a marketing agency, because what they're going to do is you're going to sign up with them. And when somebody types in general contractor in my area, or I need to paint my house, they're usually going to have some sort of article or an ad that people are going to click, and they're going to say, hey, do you need a proposal from a painting contractor? Put your zip code here. And then they start the process. And those are people that are looking for what you offer. So why not capitalize on that? You could do your own marketing through Google Ads, but you're going to have to hire a digital marketing agency. Or actually, I have someone that I could refer you if you need that. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to my office. So that leads me to number 2, The General Contractors Secret Weapon. Well, the reason I call this a secret weapon is because there is a powerful strategy that almost every single general contractor is not using. I'm actually amazed at this because I don't know why they're not doing this. Why not provide budget pricing or progress pricing to your architect while they're in their design phase so that you can be an asset to their team and get involved in the project early on? Why not do that? I learned about this, I don't know, 10 or 15 years ago. I was working as an architect, which was my first career. I was working as an architect in an interior design firm. The problem that we always ran into was it was like a high-end firm. So all these people would remodel their apartments and things like that. And it was like million dollar jobs. The designers would prepare like these dream boards and these fancy like mood boards. And then we would go and design and spend weeks and weeks and months designing their whole project and their drawings and the design development drawings and getting it to the stage of permitting. Then we get the bids in from the GCs, and guess what always happened? Oh, your project is going to cost $2.5 million. Whoa, I never expected it was going to be this much. We have a budget of like 1.5. So what happened? We used to have to go back for free because we couldn't bill for this for free. And we used to have to go back and like adjust all the finishes and change everything and change the schedules, basically redo the job over and over and over. So what happens is, and I learned a very valuable lesson there. One of the things is that designers and architects don't know pricing. Very few actually know pricing. They're amazing at doing the plans and doing their sections and drawings and AutoCAD and Revit and renderings and all that stuff, which is what their specialty is, but they don't know estimating. So the other part is it's hard to get a general contractor that's busy to separate time on a job that is out a year or two because it's still in the design phase. It's hard to get someone to convince someone to give them a bid. So what happens? They design blindly. They have no clue. What I recommend to you is go visit architects and go offer budget pricing or progress pricing. In another video, I talk about how to use the budget method, which is a method that we developed so that you could bid these jobs quicker, how to use a budget to actually bid these jobs even when the plans aren't finished. Now, that's actually one of the things we do. One of our services is we're an estimating firm, and we work all the time with developers and owners reps and in the early stages of projects, in the schematic and the design development stages. So if you need help estimating those, you can always feel free to reach out, iambuilders.com, and we can help you with that. But this is really going to be a way that you can get your foot in the door early in the process, get in the good graces of the architect, because guess what happens? The architect is your best referral because they're going to give you leads consistently. Imagine if you build a team of 20 or 30 architects and they're constantly sending you bids. And not only that, think of the mindset of the owner. The owner, who typically doesn't know anything about construction, is trusting this architect who they've been working with for months and months and months. They're holding them by the hand on the construction process, and they're investing hundreds of thousands or maybe millions of dollars in their project. And they don't know about construction, so they're trusting their architect wholeheartedly. So imagine if the architect says, hey, Mr. Owner, I have a general contractor that I could recommend you that can build this for you. So let me introduce you. Imagine how powerful that introduction is. The architect that is like on the pedestal is referring you. When I say on the pedestal, I mean the owner's looking up to them and trusting them with their project, with their millions of dollars or their hundreds of thousands of dollars. Do you think that that's going to be a referral that's going to be taken lightly? Absolutely not. They're going to seriously consider you, or you might even have that job before you even bid it, because in their mind, they might have already said, oh, you know what? I don't care what the price is. I have to do it with them. And obviously you're going to be fair. You're going to give a good price and all that stuff. Ideally, if you've been involved in the process the whole time, you've been giving budget pricing. So as long as your budget is in line with what they're expecting, there's no reason they don't give you the job. So you can literally walk out the door with jobs that you haven't even bid yet. Imagine the power of that. That is the secret weapon for general contractors. Number 3, the subcontractor's best friend. So everybody knows that subcontractors need to bid to general contractors. It's like a standard practice. The tactic is you want to build up your team. We were talking about on the GC side, we're talking about architects, right? You want to build your team of general contractors. You don't want to have one best friend. You want to have 20, 30, 50 best friends. You want to have a lot of them. So when I was at Coroni, it was a drywall subcontractor that I was a project manager for. We had like 5 or 6 consistent general contractors that we were like their preferred sub. So they they were giving us like 80 or 90% of their work. Boom, boom, boom. It didn't start off like that. We had to bid jobs and bid jobs and bid jobs. I remember there was a company called City Construction that the first jobs we did were like these little crappy jobs, like a demo job that nobody wanted to do, a union job. No, we didn't even want to do a union job, but we had to do it. We had to do these little renovations that we didn't want to do them. But guess what? We got our foot in the door. We started getting to know the superintendents, the project managers. I started getting to know the senior management. And guess what happened? Over the next few months and years, we started doing all their work. And they actually entrusted us with a project called Casa Tua, which was a massive, for them, it was like a $4 or $5 million, very complicated interior build out for, it was Saks Fifth Avenue, their restaurant. They were building a big restaurant, an Italian restaurant, and it had like complicated metal framing that we needed to get an engineer with millwork and all this fancy stuff. We made a lot of money on that job. That was like I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of dollars that contract was, but we made a lot of money on that job. And we became their preferred, all their jobs. I remember one of their project managers, we bid the job. We actually were the high bidder, and he calls me, says, Daniel, we want to use you, but you're the high bidder. Oh, my low bidder is $50,000. What can we do to drop the price a little bit, to get it closer to that? So what did I do? I dropped the price like $5,000 or $10,000, knowing that at some point we were going to pick up some change orders, because obviously every job gets change orders, and we landed that job. And how did we do that? Because we started with the little tiny jobs that we didn't want to get the foot in the door. So the way you're going to do this is you're going to try to make a lot of best friends. You're going to try to build those relationships. You're going to bid these little jobs. You're going to get behind, let's call it behind enemy lines, because you're going to get to know the project managers and the estimators. And the estimators are going to give you the feedback on your price, and you're going to be able to adjust the price so you could be more competitive. The market's always changing, so you need to change your pricing with it. It's going to go like this. It's always going to go up and down and up and down. So what you do is get in the good graces of your general contractors and build a lot of friends so that you can get on the preferred list of a bunch of companies. So what were the results of doing this? We took Coroni from less than $1 million a year to $7 million a year of annual revenue in less than 2 years. And you could do exactly the same thing by literally copying and pasting this formula into your business. Number 4, how to get the job even before there's an architect involved. Wow. Imagine if you can walk out the door with a project. There's no plans, there's no architect, there's nobody. Is that even possible? Well, I'm going to share with you exactly how to do that. An undervalued professional in the industry is a realtor. And a lot of people don't really see realtors as a potential lead, but you probably should, because the realtor is the very first point of contact that the owner has in the process of their project. What happens is, let's say you're leasing a space. Most of the time, most businesses are going to have to renovate their space. They're going to have to, update the finishes. They're going to have to build some walls. Most spaces don't come perfect to what your business needs are. So you need an interior build out. That's why we have build outs going on, TIs all the time, because the tenant is going to go to their commercial real estate broker. They're going to go in, they're going to see the space, and they're going to see the potential. They're going to say, you know what, I'm going to take it. They sign their 5 or 10 year lease. And sometimes they even have a clause in there. They can get like 6 months or 3 months to do their build out, and they don't get charged. And that's why whenever you're doing a TI or a build out, there's always like a rush or a pressure, because the tenant you have to turn over the space, because the tenant has to move in, because then they're going to start getting charged lease. And then if they're not producing income, they're not going to have that income to pay for the project. So that's why there's always a rush. On the commercial side, that's how that works. On the residential side, now there's this trend in the last like 10 years that everybody who buys a new house, they're remodeling it. They're doing a new kitchen. They're painting. They're doing their floors. They're doing everything brand new. They're redoing their doors. They're redoing their driveways. I'm guilty of that. I actually did that like 3 or 4 years ago. I bought my house and I remodeled it too. So there's this trend that anybody who's buying a house needs to remodel. So go get familiar with residential realtors that are going to help you and introduce you to these clients. Because what happens, let's say you're a general contractor, or let's say you're even a subcontractor. Let's say like my sister-in-law's a realtor. She's always sending me potential people to do projects for her. Let's say she says, hey, I have this potential person that wants to renovate their house. They don't have an architect. They don't have plans. They just have like an idea. I can actually, as a general contractor, because we are a licensed general contractor, I can subcontract the architect, get the drawings done. I can manage that. Then I could subcontract all the subs, and I can do the whole process myself as a design builder. And I don't have to be managed by an architect, or I'm involved in the process from the beginning. Same thing on the commercial side. If they come, oh, my tenant just bought a space, or he just leased a space, you can come in and say, hey, let me give you some advice. Let me show you how to do this. I have people that can help you, and you can be their construction manager or owner's rep or whatever you want to consider it. And you can guide them through the whole process, and you can do the whole thing for them. So you're going to have that job secured. As long as your price is obviously not like a ridiculously high price, you're going to pretty much have that job completely secured. If you're on the sub side, you can still do the same thing, because you probably know a bunch of general contractors, right? Let's say your realtor, your friend of yours is a realtor, and they say, hey, I know you're a drywall sub, but can you do some like interior work? And yeah, maybe your specialty is framing and drywall, or maybe just painting, but I guarantee you that you have a GC that you can call and say, hey, I got this job for you. As long as you give me the job, you can be the GC here. I want to introduce you. And guess what? Now you build a relationship where now, yeah, maybe the general contractor is managing that job, but you brought in that referral and you got yourself a new project. And they might even give you an extra commission or a higher painting contract or drywall contract just because you gave them the job. Number 5, the perfect client that always needs renovations and repairs done. Property managers. Most people overlook property managers because they don't really see a value in it. So what happens is property managers, the owners of these buildings or these houses, they hire these representatives that are going to manage the entire property for them. The rental income, the repairs, all that stuff. And what happens is oftentimes these property managers, they function almost like owner's reps. So they might have a building where there needs to be renovations done. Maybe a tenant needs a remodel and they're going to manage it on behalf of the owner. Or maybe they need to repaint the building or redo the roof because they're getting leaks and it's time, maybe they get to that 40-year point that they need to start doing work. You want to also have in your Rolodex of potential leads, you want to have property managers. Oftentimes property managers represent a lot of owners. So it's a really, really good way to get consistent work. Let's say you're a painter. Imagine if you can have a contract with this big organization where they're giving you $20,000 contracts, or let's say smaller $5,000 contracts, but like 5 a month, where you're just going to go repaint buildings or repaint spaces, or whenever they have a turnover, a tenant, you have to repaint. Even if you're a general contractor, they always need to do build outs. So that's the power of a property manager. Imagine if one property manager represents 50 properties, which they could. Imagine if you have 20 or 30 or 50 property managers that each represent 50 buildings. You think you're not going to get repairs needed? Of course you are. Now, if you're serious about growing your construction business, I prepared a short video training that's going to show you step by step how to grow your construction business on autopilot. So if you're on our website, you're going to see a button right below me, or you can go to iambuilders.com/training. I look forward to helping you grow your construction business.